Hey everybody, it's Susanna from Papercraft Planet. I wanted to give you a quick tutorial for how to really maximize the usage of your border punches. I have this particular one by Martha Stewart and it makes this really gorgeous daisy border, but you know, that's very limiting. The punches are very expensive. I think this one was $25. And if it can only punch a border, how often are you going to use that? I'm the mother of boys, so I don't actually come up against borders very often. But we'll start off with how to use the tool, you know, the first time you use it. So I'm going to do a border, and I'm going to start off by placing my paper in, and I'm lining it up so that the edge of the paper is right there against the edge of the punch. And you can kind of, if you sneak inside a look, you can see it right there. And I'm going to give it a squeeze, which is kind of a bear from this angle. And then I'll flip it over. Okay, and you can see how it started. And it comes with a pattern. All you have to do is line the pattern up with your cut, and then continue to move it down the row. So we're going to line up, punch, line up and punch. Okay, so this is our finished border. It's very pretty, and I'm not sure that's quite worth 20 bucks, but it's beautiful. Okay, so let's clear off the garbage, and I'll take you onto the next way you can use your border punch. We're going to go all the way around this sheet of paper, even though we don't have corner stamps or anything like that. The first thing you're going to need to do is get out your ruler and measure from the base of your design to the top of your design. This particular element is about 1.25 inches high. Okay, we're going to come in 1.25 inches, because remember that's what we measured right there. And I want to make sure that my design starts right here. See how the design repeats over and over again, and there's kind of a little circle in between? I'm going to cut this circle off and have my design repeat from there. So this is a little bit more than 1.25. Let's go ahead and draw a line just to keep my bearings straight from where I want my corner to start to the edge of the paper. I'm going to line this up with the edge of my ruler to make sure that I'm doing straight lines. I'll mark that in pen. Okay, now I'm going to come in 1.25 inches, because remember that's the height of my design. And I'm going to draw another line right there. This is what needs to be trimmed off. That's excess. So let's get out my paper trimmer. And let's let this little bit of extra get cut off. Move this out of the way. And then we're going to come in with our scissors. This is really just because it's easier for me to work with if I cut this bit off. Okay, I'm going to cut that bit off. And then I'm going to come in with my paper, with my border punch. Sorry. And I'm going to line it up. And you can see right where that line is, so it matches perfectly. And I want to start with the beginning of my design right there. And I'm just going to give it a punch. Let's flip the garbage out. And now, just the same as we did all the straight border punch, we're just going to line up our pattern with the template. Punch, move, line up, punch, move, line up. Okay, now you can see we have a perfect corner, and we've continued the border down the page. Okay, so now let's do the next side. And this gets a little bit trickier. You can see here we have less than 1.25 inches. We need this much room to do our design. But if we did our design right there, well, we'd mess up the corner because of the way this element lies. We could try and fudge it so that we could have 4 across, but we'd end up fudging it on every corner. So what I think I'm going to do is measure all the way in and draw a line here and then make my 1.25 from there. So this will actually be a rectangle. Actually, it'll be a smaller square. It'll be 3 on every side. So for the sake of being a perfectionist, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to line up my ruler so my edges are straight. I'm going to make sure I start right here where my design begins. And I'm going to draw a line right there. That's where I want my punch to line up. I'm going to come in 1.25 inches from that. And I'm going to draw a line, and that's where I'm going to trim the extra. Okay, so let's get out the paper trimmer. And we're going to cut off this extra, making sure we keep our paper straight all the time. This part's garbage. Or you can put it in your recycle bin. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut off the junk because it gets in my way. You may decide that you want to do this part afterwards. And you can try and follow the curve of that last flower if you want to. Okay. Exactly the same as we've done before. We're going to line up our design so that it begins right there on that corner. Give it a good punch. Sorry, the garbage is getting in my way. Okay, we're going to line up our element on the template, and then we're just going to continue to punch down the border. Okay, now we have 3 sides done, and they're perfect. And now we want to do the same thing we did last time. We want to make sure that we have at least an 1.25 inches for our design to repeat perfectly. There is not an 1.25 inches here without cutting into this flower, so we're going to move the line up just like we did before. And make sure that my ruler's straight. Come over here to the edge of the design and use my pen so you can see it. You'll use a pencil. We're working on the back side anyway. And I'm going to draw a line right there. That's where my design is going to start. And I'm going to make a cut line here, and that is what I'm going to remove. Okay, so let's get out the paper trimmer, and we'll remove this bit of extra. Okay, it goes in the recycle bin. This is our last side, so we have 2 little bits of garbage to cut off. I'm going to cut off right there. And I'm going to cut off right there. Now, if we measured carefully, our punch should finish out perfectly. Remember, we're going to line it up just to start our design. Okay, and then we're just going to measure, line up our design with our template. Punch, move, punch, move. Okay, I've got a little bit of cleanup to do with these little doodads. And that needs to be rounded. But basically, it looks good. I'm off on these corners, but you get the general idea. And this will work for any stamp, at any punch you have at all. You'll have to do the math. Remember, the key element is how deep is your design. Okay. This time, what we're going to do is make a strip. So the same way we did last time, we're going to line up our paper with the beginning right there of our punch design. Give it a good punch. This is a little bit thicker paper. It's going to take some muscle. We're going to move down the pattern. Okay, perfect. We're going to take this And we're going to put it inside our paper trimmer. And we are going to line up the top of our design with, the base of our design at 1 1/4. Okay, so this is the base of our design, and here's the 1 1/4 line. Maybe give it just a little tiny bit extra. Okay, I'm going to cut off the extra. I think you can see where this is going. We're going for a really pretty decorative element. Okay, make sure you start on the same side you started with last time. We started right here with the base of our punch. So we're going to do that again. We're going to line up that same side with the base of our punch. Give it a good squeeze. And then we're just going to line up the holes with the template and move and punch. And then you end up with this beautiful floral element. This makes a gorgeous basket handle. It makes a great border on a scrapbook page. You know, you could even cut the elements apart and use them as flower embellishments. So that's very handy. Okay. The next idea for your border punch is something that I saw on Pinterest, and I loved the idea, and it was so simple. You know, I gave myself the, you know, palm to the forehead. Why didn't I think of that? This does not involve any higher math of any sort, no measuring at all. You can start this anywhere you want to start it. I'm going to eyeball starting at the bottom, and then we're going to line up our punch and move along. Okay, so it's like this. And then I'm going to come back with my paper trimmer and I'm just going to cut between the designs, and I'm going to end up with a tag. And you can use a corner rounder to round the edges and put a stamped sentiment there. But really and truly, in a matter of, you know, seconds, you're going to end up with, you know, I think I got 6, you know, really pretty decorative edge tags, you know, that you could attach to your holiday presents, birthday gifts, wine bottles. You know, if you know me at all, you knew I'd bring wine into this. Okay, my trimmer needs a new blade. Okay. And we can just round the edges and end up with some really lovely tags. So those are the different ways we can use our border punch. You can use it to punch a border. You can use it to punch around a page. You could do it to punch a decorative strip. You can use it to create tags. And if you wanted to, you know, this could be a 2-sided tag. You could punch, you know, on each side, lining up your element, and then you have almost a frame motif. I just thought of that. You know, the opportunities are endless, so get your money's worth out of the tools you already have in your craft closet. For more information, www.papercraftplanet.com. Have a good night.